have 2 sophomore speeches today, so please keep your announcement short so we can get out on time. Other than that, I think we're good.
There's going to be a Spanish club meeting tomorrow at lunch. We're going to be talking about a holiday coming up, so I hope to see you all there.
So today at lunch, Dr. Hands' room, it's Guild again. There's this weird game called Corridor Classic. It's got a bunch of game awards from places I've never heard of. So let's learn about it. I have no idea.
So the water polo season may be over, but just for fun, we're still going to have practice today through Wednesday.
These are just fun practices, so anyone who's interested in playing water polo next year, come out.
To follow that up just real quick, since I'd like to give the water polo team a big hand because this is their first year playing varsity. They finished 4th place and they just missed by a coin flip going to the league tournament at the end of the season. And Teo and Connor are both seniors, so let's give them a big round of applause.
is hosting a 2-week trip to Japan, where you can visit Tokyo, Kyoto, Nara, Hiroshima, Ichiki, Kushikino, and you can live with a host brother or sister. The information night is November 9th at 7 o'clock at the Buddhist Temple in Salinas. The program's been in place since 1987, and the association covers half of the cost. You must be a 9th to 11th grade student living in the Salinas Valley to apply. And applications are due December 9th and interviews January 2017. And if you need any help filling out the application or want any more information, talk to me. Thank you.
Imagine not knowing. Most people know because they have their biological family at their fingertips. No, you know exactly who they are and who they look like. Well, I don't. I've been told stories about where I'm from, but I don't know the real deal. I've never told many people about my origins because I was afraid to be judged. But this is my story. When I was a couple of days old, I was left in a cardboard box at the front door of a health clinic in China. There was nothing with me except a blanket and a piece of paper with my birthday. I was then taken to an orphanage, and 15 months later, I was adopted by 2 foreigners. It was this day where my life took a significant turn. I left my birth country and moved to the United States, where there is a different culture and different opportunities. Occasionally, I look back and try to imagine what life would be like if I had never left my birth parents. Would I be working on a farm? Would I have siblings who shared the same smile? Would I be forced to give a speech in front of the whole school? I wonder why I was given up. Was I a disappointment because I'm a girl instead of a boy? Was I the second girl in a country that traditionally values boys more than girls? Was I given up because of government pressure? I wonder who my Chinese parents are. When I was little, I wanted to find them. I even told my mother, I love my Chinese mom to infinity, and I love you to infinity minus 1. Fortunately, my mother wasn't offended. My parents have supported me when I've shown interest in finding my biological parents. Today, I am just as interested in finding them, but I don't openly talk about it. I push down the urge. I don't want to get my hopes up. If we spend years trying to find them with no luck, I don't want to be crushed. We inherit many different traits from our biological parents. For example, I inherited a trait that allows me to have a good sense of direction. My adoptive mother doesn't have this. Ever since I was 4, I've had to tell her where to go. If my adoptive parents were my birth parents, then I would assume my sense of direction came from my father. Also, I'd be taller than all of them. Who or what has made me me. I've come to the conclusion that I do. Even though adoption was a significant turning point, being adopted is not my full identity, and it never will be. No one in this room knows exactly who they are, even if they know where they got their smile. Every day, we're discovering something new about ourselves, me more than others. I just have to remember to be true to myself. My past is unknown, but my future is in my hands.
Do you ever go onto Netflix, excited for the possibility of new shows and tantalizing movies, and end up watching one of the 3 shows you constantly binge? Well, just recently, that happened to me. While I was browsing, I saw one of my old favorites, and of course, had to start watching it again. It was called The Blacklist, a show where the FBI enlists a notorious bad guy to provide information about other notorious bad guys that appear on the FBI's blacklist. The FBI's blacklist is basically just rows and rows of names of people who the FBI think of as a threat. Which got me thinking, do I have a blacklist? Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have a physical copy of the names of people who have wronged me in my life. I have it memorized. Anyone who has done anything remotely wrong to me is on the list. The first on my list was Caroline, a sweet, innocent, nice, young 3rd grader. Or that's what I thought. The setting is my elementary school back in 3rd grade. The school put on a yearly production of a quaint little musical called On the Other Side of the Fence, basically just a Romeo and Juliet type play with farm animals in place of naive teenagers. The leads were 2 pigs, Ham and Bacon. And boy, oh boy, I wanted the role of Bacon. On the day of the tryouts, I was ecstatic. I enthusiastically sang my song and danced to my heart's content, knowing perfectly well I was getting that role. I really don't know why I was so confident, but I even made my parents take me out to dinner to celebrate the role I had. Well, on the day the cast was posted, I sprinted to the wall and nearly passed out due to pure shock. I had the role of the bird, and my so-called friend got Bacon. Pushing back the tears, I approached Coraline. Oh my God, I never thought I'd get Bacon. I'm not even sure I want Bacon, she said. I stared in awe at the girl whom I once loved and trusted. We later performed the musical that year, and although the bird had her own song, I couldn't help but be envious of Bacon. Obviously, I never spoke to Caroline again. The next on my list was Drake, a boy in my 5th grade class. My 5th grade teacher's mentality on teaching was to reward the good and punish the bad, which is what a lot of people do, but in my case, he rewarded us with piles and piles of junk food and punished us by making us run laps. Luckily, I was a pretty good kid and hardly ever had to run laps, and I actually received a very unhealthy amount of junk food in the short 10 months of school. Well, one of the main ways to get food from him was by being something called row captain, where you keep control of the kids who sat in your row of chairs. He rewarded this task by at the end of the week giving you a little bowl of hot sausages and one of the hundreds of sauces he kept on his wall. Well, I loved being row captain, partly for the sheer responsibility and leadership of it, but also being able to lead a grueling, tiresome 5th grade class and being rewarded with a hot steaming pile of little weenies was really cool as a 5th grader. Well, I don't know why, but every week Drake would get these sausages. Every week. Even when he didn't do any work. Not only that, but my teacher gave him extra helpings of all the food he passed out. It was blasphemy. It was the purest form of favoritism I had ever seen in my young life. Why did he deserve extra sausages? He didn't, but he got them anyway. That's why Drake was next on my list. I could go on for hours and hours telling you about all of my enemies. And I use the term enemies loosely at this point because looking back at my 3rd and 5th grade self, I realized how silly I was being. I irrationally hated these really nice people for years. As I've been getting older, I've been getting rid of my grudges. I realize now that it's important to pick your battles and not fight fights over small things. As a wise man once said, holding grudges is like drinking poison and hoping for the other person to die. Thank you.
And I'm just here to remind those of you who are 18 that today is your last opportunity, and citizens of the United States, that today is your last opportunity to register to vote for this upcoming election. So you can register online, and I hope that you will. Voting is an extraordinary right and responsibility that we have in this country. And we become so sort of used to having it that we're blind to the privilege of it. There are people who risk their lives in other countries for the opportunity to vote, and we don't bother even to drive down to the polls and spend our time to do it. So I hope that you will. It is not only the presidential election this time. There are local issues. There are a large number of ballot measures to educate yourselves on. So however you might go, it's not like I'm saying vote one way or another, but however you would vote, please, please do so. Thank you.
Kelly Britt from CIEE will be here on Wednesday. She will be visiting language classes. She will have a table out at lunch in the Commons, and she'll be in room 6 during tutorial after school. Kelly will be here to give you all sorts of information about CIEE trips and signing up for scholarships that are reserved for York students. And then she will be here in the evening as well, speaking at the York Parents meeting. So for anybody listening at home, you can join us at 7 on Wednesday night in the Student Center to meet with Kelly as well. Just want to give you a heads up so you can plan ahead, think about your lunchtime or tutorial time if you'd like to meet with Kelly and learn more about CIEE. Thanks.
Meetings are in small groups tomorrow.
As usual, we have a general student council meeting today. Go to class.